I light this candle for the miracle of consciousness, the divine presence that lives in each one of us and in all that is. And I invite the 4 square candle lighters to come up and light the 4 candles of the new paradigm.
I light this candle for the coming of heaven on earth.
I light this candle for freedom from fear and domination.
I light this candle for the awakening of the heart in all people.
I light this candle for the power of love to transform any condition into order, harmony, and peace.
We're going to have a workshop on how to operate candle lighters. Today is the day we celebrate the Declaration of Independence of the United States from England. Yet we find ourselves deeply questioning our democracy, our freedom, as greater and greater complexities arise. And so we can ask ourselves, which way are we going? Are we headed towards a future of security and freedom? Let us make this Independence Day holiday a wake-up call to behold our countrymen and women with new energy and enthusiasm for the ideals that we believe in, the democracy of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now I'd like us to say our affirmation together. This is a new part of a new element in our service where we are creating the vibration for paradigm shift, for new paradigm living. So taking our statement of communion and solidarity with all beings together, lifting the veil of separation, opening all hearts and minds to the light of truth, we align with the highest good as every soul awakens to the power to create divine solutions and a world that works for all. And hold that silently in your heart for a moment. And so it is. Amen. Well, today starts the second half of the year, right? And we've been through many themes this year. We did the beautiful Lenten season and prosperity series. And now it's the first Sunday of the second half of the year. And I've been thinking how to have a conversation here in our work that has some reach to it, that has some traction for people who really need the truth. People who are looking and suffering and need some kind of new way to address their life issues. And so I'm creating this series called Life Repair 911. 911 to indicate that, it's an emergency. Let's get on this. And life repair to indicate that sometimes our lives are in a broken down state. We all know people. So here we go. Have you noticed that some people seem to be going in a direction that leads where? To oblivion. This series is an examination of the choices we make and the results that we cause or create. Of course, we know in truth there's no such thing as oblivion. Every individual is an entity of divine presence, of divine consciousness that is eternal, perfect, whole, and free in the absolute. And that's why it's so distressing, so painful, so agonizing to not be expressing and demonstrating that truth of ourselves. As we look at the people we know, the people we don't know but hear about, our own lives and the periods we've had, peaks and valleys, we can see that some lives are in need of repair. Some lives are very much in a state of breakdown. That's why it's such a marvel when you meet someone who's living from spiritual awareness, when you meet someone who's living from the consciousness of the divine, living really in appreciation and delight. And that's all of us here today, right? Claim that for yourself. But we do see that some individuals have chosen to stay unaware for the time, to not wake up, and to look for their good in materiality, to look for their good in outer things. The state of being is not viable. Some people seem to be headed for oblivion. I was thinking maybe we could have a support group. People headed for oblivion support group. You think it would attract anybody? Just saying hello to a person who's really fully negative, just saying hello enables them to continue, avoid facing their situation. You guys have seen me go through many of these journeys with people in my house adventures. You know, sometimes the loving thing to do is to turn someone away. You guys don't think I can do that, do you? I can say no, I really can. It's not communication that is needed in healing life repair. It's not words. It's beyond talking. It's feeling what the other person is experiencing and having compassion for whatever it is. So the first life repair is endless compassion and loving ways. Now is the time for my little skit here. I would have cast the skit with somebody to play it, but I couldn't get anybody to do it, so here it is. So years ago, I wrote a comedy video called A Half Hour of Prime Time, and that's where I had that thing I've done for you all, the home life magazine, the magazine for people with no home life. You've heard that. If you haven't, I could do it right now. Want to hear that? Because I have that memorized. I carry it in my head all the time. Now, for only $10, you can subscribe to Home Life Magazine, the magazine for people with no home life. Yes, now you can carry your home life around with you on the bus, off the office, over drinks, and even through your glamorous evenings of exciting nightlife. Or if you prefer, Home Life Magazine offers many suggestions for actually improving your home life if you really want to have one. For instance, this month's issue includes 101 ways to improve your home life, and subscribing to Home Life Magazine, the magazine for people with no home life, is just one of the suggestions. Our other articles of interest this month include I Grew Up as a Kid with No Home Life and Everybody Knew It, an exciting look into the criminal mind of some of the inmates at Baltimore City Jail. We also have helpful household hints like how to decorate for the holidays without actually cleaning. And is your stereo really loud enough? So treat yourself to the greatest offer in the publishing world. Home Life Magazine is for everyone, young and old alike. We feel that you will enhance your world with our better home life. So buy it today. A brief parody of consumerism. I'm making fun of consumerism. But now here we have, does anybody remember on ABC they used to have FYI? Boom, 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 FYI. You remember that? And they'd say, you may have wondered how to get these spots out of your rug. Well, here's a solution that'll get it right out. You know, it was just interesting points of information to help you with different situations. So this is called NTI. Boom, 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 NTI. Not that important. You may have wondered what to do with all of those down and out, burned out bums that gravitate toward your house when your kids are with your ex-spouse and you're all by yourself. Here's an organization you can join that will help you. It's called Parents Without Children. All you have to do is believe that having endless compassion and loving ways is the best way to conduct yourself. That way you'll always be ready for your children to join you. And you can buy a T-shirt on our website. Order yours today. Endless compassion and loving ways. It says, endless compassion and loving ways. Yeah. Parents without children. Okay, so I have to agree that I haven't really made the case for whether we're saying to give endless compassion and loving ways to show that to people who are troubled, or for people who are troubled to adopt endless compassion and loving ways. Well, it's not either or, it's both. It's really both. When you get around to seeing that love is the only real force that matters, you will see your life begin to actually repair itself. Just think, all those lives blossoming and flourishing with love. So the second life repair, did you get your email that said there's 4 life repairs we're going to talk about today? The second life repair is growing, giving, and vulnerable. Don't avoid these things. Ask yourself, am I growing? Am I giving? Am I vulnerable? Because you have to grow. The ego says, no, I don't want to know anything more. I might have to change. You know, always be growing, looking to grow. Don't avoid growing. Am I giving? Learn to experience the blessing of giving. We're so calibrated in this materialistic society to measure everything that we give for something we're going to get back. Am I being taken advantage of? Am I being made a fool of? Giving is a blessed activity in and of itself. And it does set you in a path of receiving, heaped up, pressed down, and running over. And the vulnerability, like in the Course in Miracles, being defenseless, but to be vulnerable. If you're defending yourself, if you're protecting yourself, you are shut down. Being shut down is no way to be. So keep your vulnerability, grow, and give. Now the third life repair is focus, plan, and take baby steps. If you want to get anything accomplished, one of the things in our lives where we feel a sense of brokenness is not having accomplished our goals, or not having found a goal we want to accomplish. In order to do that, you have to focus. You have to plan. And remember baby steps, because you can get overwhelmed. You can throw yourself off by trying to bite off too much of a piece. Biting off more than you can chew, as they say. And the fourth, life repair. See what happens, see if you can guess. You know, you're doing all these things to rev yourself up. You're opening your heart, you're giving, you're learning, you're being compassionate. What's left? You have to have discipline. Much as you may mean well and have good intentions, if you go around indulging yourself and throwing yourself into imbalance, you spend all your time going way out into imbalance and recovering, and then you get back to center, and what have you done? Nothing. So, it's restraint, discipline, and non-indulgence. You see, indulgence is being addicted or bound to sense consciousness. Indulging the senses in outer sources. The Fillmores write a lot about non-indulgence and avoiding the gratification of the senses. They almost sound like Puritans sometimes. They are a very pure-minded, idealistic mentality. Unity springs from. The early people at Unity Village, at Unity School, of which my mother was one, they were almost like Seventh-day Adventists, or they were vegetarians. There's one test question that Myrtle Fillmore wrote an answer to when she was being ordained. She had to be questioned by Charles, and the question was, do you use any stimulants like coffee or tea? And she said, I do not use any stimulants, nor even pepper. So we can take some guidance from that. And so we can see that there is much to offer to the one who is in distress. And we're going to have further talks on this. This is a whole series. One of the next two are just addressing broken dreams and broken relationships. There are choices to be made that will change the course of one's life. There are ideas that will transform the context of one's very existence. Let us be rooted in truth, in knowing and believing in our own power to create, knowing and believing in our own knowledge of God's will of good for us. Let us be rooted in knowing and believing in the freedom to walk a new road of forgiveness, holding a vision revealed by God's love. Amen. Our meditation statement for today is, by my right choices, I attain inner strength. So let's take this into our hearts by turning within, breathing deeply, allowing our attention to take in all around us, and then check into the inner closet, where we hear that still small voice that reveals to us exactly what we need to feel and know and do. Our bodies relax, our minds let go, our hearts soften. Our entire being is attuned to the energy of the divine in us. And we feel enfolded in the presence of divine love, lifted by the power of divine mind, healed by the power of divine life in every fiber of our being. And so let us vocalize our statement heartily together. By my right choices, I attain inner strength. And let's say that together now. Together. By my right choices, I attain inner strength. And say it silently in your heart. For we know that this is our power and our destiny, to become one with the One. That our path, our choices are divinely guided, and our will is subsumed in the divine will. And knowing this, we now rest for a time within our own souls in the silence. our being is empowered from on high. Our hearts, our minds, our bodies, enveloped in the love of God, abiding with you, sweet Spirit, moment by moment, as we unfold into the Christ. And so it is. Amen. Amen.